I look like I have strawberry hair.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Mike here, Albert, yes, love OKC, and we have a lovely guest with us, Hasty.
Yes, Hasty.
Yep,
Hasty Dawn.
Hasty Dawn. And you have a blog, correct?
I do. Hasty
You want to tell us a little about it?
I started it a long time ago, and I started it because I needed a place to talk about my depression because I didn't want to burden people, and it was the perfect thing to do. And so I realized there's a lot of people out there with depression, and I made a lot of friends and realized I wasn't alone, and now I'm really nervous.
That's okay.
Well, and we were kind of talking earlier. You created a pen name. Tell us a little bit about the freedom of being able to write under kind of like a different identity.
I don't know if I really felt like I had a different identity because I was always me, but I guess I kind of protected my identity in that it couldn't be traced back to, I guess my daughter and my family, like I was protecting them. But I was always very open about who I was as a person.
Okay.
So I don't think it was really like I was hiding.
Mm-hmm. Do you, I like to write poetry, and sometimes it's very scary to be vulnerable, because once you write it, it's kind of out there, and you're kind of afraid sometimes, like, who's going to read it. Tell us a little bit about that in regards to you.
Ooh, yeah, that is extremely scary. At first, it was really more about taking all the intense thoughts I had and putting it into as few words as possible. And I felt like by the time it got out to the public, it was really kind of, the feelings were kind of hidden, and that I wasn't really exposing a lot about the why or how, or getting too deep into, who caused the trauma or the pain. And a lot of times it turned out that, the pain was really something that was more internal. Mm-hmm. It wasn't caused by anyone in particular. It was more my own demons terrorizing me. But there was freedom in that, and being able to release my own demons out there and be the horrific, all those horrific thoughts that you would never want to tell somebody were hidden in those words. But the more you do it, and the more you realize that those are really very common thoughts out there that other people are afraid to come forward with. You start realizing that people really do need to be able to express these things without judgment. That just because you think them doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. That sometimes your mind really does try to attack you, and that doesn't mean that you are that terrible person. And expressing them is a good thing, that they will always start to leak out if you don't. In sometimes bad ways, if you don't let them come out in better ways, like writing, poetry.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we're doing right now is we're following and we're talking to women that we feel are empowering, to include yourself.
Oh.
If you guys, her house alone just is beautiful,
gorgeous,
and gorgeous, and
Well, and real quick, can I add? So we met you on the set of the Stand-In film. I didn't really get to interact with you. I think Mike was able to interact with you, but I saw you posting, and I kind of read your blog, and I was just kind of intrigued by your followers, your words, and your honesty, and that kind of is what made me think, like, we need to kind of explore this a little bit more, and kind of we're getting along with the women empowerment, and I think we don't oftentimes see women being able to be so liberated, because liberation can be in like so many forms. I don't think liberation, you know, we've talked about people feeling like sexually liberated, and just like, I mean, any type of liberation. I think that your words, the power that you have, the trans community, there's so much strength in what you can provide to people, you know, and just by just sharing your honesty and your truth.
And in just my talkings with you, you know, that, and that's why I was quick to agree with Albert, you know, when we wanted to have this, because you know, you know, just in that short time that I did get to know you, you know, you exuded confidence and you felt very powerful being around you. So, you know, that was one of the reasons that, you know, that I was like, yeah, that makes sense, you know. So, you know, kind of rolling into that, what would you consider your definition of a woman?
Wow, that's a complicated
It is.
question.
You phrased it a really good way last time.
How would you identify your womanhood?
Well, that really is complicated because I never had. I'm one of those women that didn't have women role models. I mean, I had my mom. She was a stay-at-home mom, and I love my mom. And then I didn't really have friends. I was driven, extremely, probably more driven than most growing up. And right out of high school, work. I mean, that was my life. I guess, gosh, womanhood. I've never really thought about it. I just knew I wanted to be successful. I didn't really associate with a gender specifically. I didn't want to be a housewife. I didn't want to do my mom thing. The first woman I really identified with was a boss I had. It was a husband and wife business, and she she had several sons that worked for her, and she was powerful, and she was both she was several things. She was a great wife, she was a great mother, but she was also a really good co-worker. I mean, she was right there alongside her husband building a business, and I wanted to be her, you know. And so then every job I've been in, I've worked for women, and they were successful and strong. And then every
great
time,
influencers.
and so I wanted to be them. And so, as far as friendships go, all my friendships have been with men. So I've really kind of had to figure out what being a woman is myself. And then my best friend recently died of brain cancer, and she was also my boss, and she was an amazing woman, and also a great wife, and a great friend. And so I look at those women, and I want to be them. But my experience with women in general used to be they cut other women down, and they are mean and not kind, and they're bullies. But since I've been blogging and really actually being more out because I'm antisocial, so now that I'm more social and I'm out there, I've discovered a whole world of women who are supportive and loving, and you know, they're not what I expected them to be. So it's changed.
It's kind of neat, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know, if you go and search for people, you'll find them. And I always expected them to be different because I avoided them. But if you go searching for strong, beautiful women, you will find them, and they're out there.
Well,
I know a lot of them.
It kind of speaks to your ability to create this safe space. You know, your blog is a safe space for these women to be okay and not feel like we have to tear each other down. You know, they're able, because I think a lot of times with women it's insecurities that lead them to tearing each other down. So in this space that you created, it's just let's be vulnerable and let's coexist, you know, and that might be what contributes to that, you know.
And I think you're right. A lot of the women I know have been very, very vulnerable, and they use their voice to lift each other up. And they've gone through some of the worst things, and they are the strongest women I know. And, you know, a lot of them will call each other warriors, and I don't know if they're, you know, I wouldn't consider myself, you know, you hear words like survivor a lot and warrior a lot, and I don't consider myself any of those. I consider myself a supporter, and because that to me is the most powerful word there is. And almost everyone I know, I mean, I see Yusuf, I see you guys, and I see my blogging friends, and I see, you know, Byron Hamel, or, you know, my daughter, you know, everyone I know, you see the things that they do well, and you support them, and that only makes your life better.
I agree. Well, we didn't want to make it all, you know, serious and things of that nature.
It happens.
It does happen, but we do have questions for you that kind of lighten up the mood. My favorite one is, would you rather have a good pizza or a burger, or a good burger?
A burger.
A burger. Oh, she didn't even think about it. She just said
burger. We're not winning with our guests, are we?
All our guests have said burger.
Yeah. Everyone.
Really?
Me and him.
We haven't met
pizza.
We haven't met a woman out there that has chosen pizza. So we need to find someone that all about pizza.
Well, I used to work at a pizza restaurant for 6 years,
so that you're burnt out on it. I get that. I understand.
I've had every kind of pizza there is. So.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a great burger, and Nick's is by far my favorite in Oklahoma City. But
I'm kind of a Tucker's fan.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been to the place in El Reno?
I haven't.
I hear it's the place to go for.
I don't even know where El Reno is. I am geographically challenged. I didn't even know New England was part of the United States.
We probably should. We should have turned the camera off.
No, it's okay. No, I am not smarter than a fifth grader.
Do you want to use the lifeline?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, wrong show.
Yeah. All of them at the same time.
So, you know, just moving along, we'll go ahead with another light one, you know. So, you know, it's Halloween time. We have classic monsters. So, if it came down to it, who would you pick, Dracula or Frankenstein?
Frankenstein.
Why is that? Oh.
I've written a lot of poetry where I feel like I'm Frankenstein's monster. So I relate to Frankenstein a bit, like, well, I really relate to Frankenstein's monster. I would rather not be Frankenstein, but his monster, yes.
Yes. I think I'd rather be Frankenstein.
Creating the monsters?
Which makes him a monster on his own.
Yeah.
There's a life lesson in there.
Yeah, I don't know. So, in your experience, what do you think is a common, or are some common misconceptions about women that you at least have encountered?
Ooh, misconceptions. I think, I think that probably if you're crying, then you're weak. But I think that that's not just women, that's for men too. So that's kind of a bit confusing. Because I know when I cry, I'm a very emotional person, but it doesn't always mean that I'm sad. Usually if I'm crying, I'm pretty upset. I'm angry.
I just got done interviewing someone earlier today, and she was telling me her story, and I about cried.
Yeah.
Like I had tears in my eyes, and I had to hold it back. So, I definitely don't find it as a sign of weakness, at least in our realm, for sure.
Yeah,
but I understand that misconception.
I think too many people assign that to weakness for men and women. So, another misconception, would be the one that I had where women are always tearing each other down. I don't think that's the case. I think more often than not we're lifting each other up. I think that's more the case now, these last few years, than it ever has been before. And I think communication has helped a lot. Just women communicating better with each other has helped. Because I don't think we were doing that very well before.
Yeah, I definitely can agree that. I think that we see a lot more women embracing each other and trying to not be pulled apart.
Right. Well, and I think beauty standards have a lot to do with that too, because, I was thinking the other day, I went out with friends, and, people are always surprised when I get dressed up, and I don't get dressed up very often because I don't want, I like to look pretty, but I don't want to look pretty when I go out because I don't like getting hit on. And I started thinking about that, but I'll go to the gay clubs and I love getting pretty to go there and I started thinking, why is that? And it's because I feel safe there, because being beautiful there is like, oh, you took an effort to get made up. To be beautiful is you took an effort and you care about yourself. But to get beautiful, to go to a bar is like you want something. You can't just be beautiful to feel beautiful. And I think women look at each other in that light sometimes. It's like, oh, you're trying to look beautiful to take my man, or you're trying to look beautiful, for these other reasons. But really, you just want to look good and feel good about yourself. And I think beauty standards, need to be looked at that way. It's like, oh, she's always taking a selfie, so she must really think she's something. No, I really want to feel pretty, and that really needs to just be that,
and capture
instead
it.
of what is wrong with just wanting to feel pretty about yourself.
There's nothing.
But oftentimes, just feeling good about yourself is making people troll you, and that's not nice, and it's not fair.
There's a really interesting thing out there on the internet right now that I was reading called "If Men Had Curfews." I don't know if you've seen this hashtag.
No, I haven't.
It's a great hashtag. It's wonderful. It's like, if men had curfews, I'd go out to the club with my girlfriends and not have to worry about getting hit on. So, like you said, just getting pretty, going out with your friends, or not even just your friends in general.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who they are.
Right.
Just the idea of going out to a dance club and not getting hit on.
And having a good time.
And just having a good time. Yeah. It had obviously that was just one of the small little minuscule things that, are nuances and things that we've developed over time, sadly. I was just thinking about this on my way here. I was like, there used to be a time where, a guy would ask a girl to kiss her.
Yeah, what is wrong with that?
Time ago,
and we called it chivalrous, right?
Right.
And then that went away for some reason, and now it seems like we're coming back in kind of almost in a full circle, and it's almost with manners too. We're coming in almost back into a full circle where we're actually starting to kind of start respecting people's boundaries and things, but we're just adding new and even better improvements to it. But if you get a chance, look at that. If men had a curfew, like things like I'd go for a jog at 11 p.m. I wouldn't worry about wearing yoga pants in Walmart.
Right.
I was reading. Well, you laugh, but I mean, I'm going here, going. This is what
we're monsters.
Yeah, I'm like. Really, what we've talked about the whole time, Albert, is don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And that's what men are doing, and they're creating this society that I don't want to live in personally, because I want my child, I want my fiance to be able to walk out the door at whatever the hell time she wants and feel safe.
Right, and I know that there are women out there that do like that, like to be looked at or whistled to, but I think a lot of that is still. That's the culture they grew up in, and if they don't get that, they don't feel like that they're pretty. But I think if you change the culture and you change what feeling pretty should feel like, then that will slowly change for them. You know, that if a guy comes up and says, you know, you look very nice today, that will soon become the next, you know, you look hot, you know, that'll be what you're looking for. But I don't know.
I hope not.
You want to keep whistling.
Yeah. No, I want to keep saying you look nice today.
Yeah. So you should start being able to. You should be able to do that and make a girl feel nice instead of them wanting the whistles.
Well, and we actually were talking to one of our other interviewees, Ashley, about this. You know, her thing is she likes to give compliments. Like if she sees a girl that looks good, she's like, "Yes, girl, you look good." You know, where if she does it to a man, she feels like she's hitting on them, or like it comes off like that. And she's like, I'm about empowering each other. Like if you see a girl with like a nice pair of heels, let her know like you like her shoes.
It's all about how you do it. It really is. I mean, and guys probably are a bit afraid to compliment a woman without being seen as creepy, but it really is all about. The story I was going to talk about was there was a man who came up and he was standing in line behind my daughter and I at Walmart, and he told my daughter that she had beautiful blue eyes, just like her mother. And that might have been a fine compliment, and probably was fine for most people to compliment somebody like that. I have no idea if that was a good compliment or bad. It doesn't, I mean, I think you should still compliment people. You don't ever really know how someone's going to take your compliment. It doesn't mean you should stop complimenting people.
I agree.
I think as long as you're not hurting someone, you're not being disrespectful, you're not touching them, that's okay. But, you know, because I have that as a trigger for me, I pretty much just took my daughter, paid my money, ran out of the store, and pretty much had a heart attack, you know, because that wasn't something that I could handle at that moment. But I think approach does matter. I think...
Do you think his approach was wrong?
We were strangers. I think, you know, he complimented our eyes. I think it was wrong only because my daughter is a juvenile. She's young. You need to be careful about complimenting young children. Yes, I don't think you should do that. And
tone and situation and place, those all play a huge part into it.
If you're at a costume party for 14-year-olds and you say somebody has a cute
pretty
costume,
eyes.
Right? I do still feel like that situation was wrong. There's more to that.
Do you think it would have been different if he would have come up to you maybe directly and said, "Oh my God, your daughter has beautiful blue eyes"?
No, because like I said, that specifically is a trigger for me.
I would feel awkward, very awkward if somebody came up to me in the same situation and somebody complimented my children in addition to me.
Now, if I came up to you in the store and we were just standing there and I saw you and I said, "Wow, you have really pretty eyes," and just like that, it wouldn't bother you. Because I do that a lot, you know, like if a cash register is doing something, you know.
And we've talked about that too,
I had a woman tell me today that, you know, you have really pretty eyes, and it didn't bother me because the situation was... You know, she's taking my money and, you know. And
one of our previous people that we've interviewed, it was more of the fact that if a woman compliments a man, the man feels, a lot of times the man will feel like he's being hit on, and so he might aggressively approach her again or
Yeah, I'm very careful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm very careful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think, and I'm sad that it's that kind of society, because I should be able to walk up to you in the grocery store and say, you know what, you have a very beautiful top, like, you know, your shirt, or, you know, I love your pants, or your hair is bomb right now.
Yeah.
You know?
No, if you said your hair is bomb, I'd probably go, thanks, you know. Your phrasing really doesn't matter.
Well, you're exactly correct, because remember I was telling the story, I complimented the woman on, I'm losing my train of thought here.
Complimented the woman?
Well, I complimented her, and it was on her makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I complimented her on her makeup. We were in line in the supermarket, and I said, "Your makeup is really on point." Just wanted to say that, and she almost started crying because she was like, "Oh, that's so amazing for you to say that," because like she was going to beauty school and you know, things like that. She was having a rough time, and then all of a sudden, this one little thing brightened her day.
Right.
You know, so it can have a powerful message. Sadly, it's been ruined at times.
I think if it looks like you I think, you know, if you say something polite and they look like you're hitting on them, you just say, I'm not hitting on you, I just thought I would let you know.
Yeah.
You look like you needed to be cheered up or whatever.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you just gotta be careful.
It's a hard situation.
I think a lot of times, I just use a smile.
That's not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, you're just passing someone and have an extra big smile. A lot of people just think I'm crazy, but
well, as Albert has said earlier in the interview, Halloween is coming up.
it is.
So a lot of people are getting costumes and going to be dressing up and stuff. And it's been a fun topic, I would say, so far. Talking about, I guess, the way that costumes for women are over-sexualized versus the way that men's costumes come out. More specific, I don't know if you watch The Handmaid's Tale.
I haven't.
Basically, it's oppressed women, but then they turn this oppressed clothing that they wear in the show, they turn it into this sexy, stylish, type thing.
For
So
Halloween.
yeah, so they're glorifying oppressed women is what they're doing.
Making it
They
sexy.
do that
Yeah,
for Native
making-
American.
Exactly.
living a lot.
So what are your thoughts and I honestly I think if that's if a woman wants to feel sexy on Halloween, by all means that's her thing. She can do whatever she wants. It's but I do believe there is a line like the Handmaid's Tale costumes,
Yeah.
But do you feel that there is? How do you feel about sexualizing those costumes? How do you feel about, is there a line to you or?
I think there's, for me personally, there's a line.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody does have their own decisions and rights to choose what they're going to wear on their own body.
Mm-hmm.
And they are also responsible for accepting their own consequences for the shit they take for it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that, I don't like it. I'll leave it at that. But I do think that it doesn't lead to anything good for kids to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it gives them, it's like, as far as role models, it's nothing great. I think there are a lot of really good costumes and a lot of really good ways you can be sexy without doing that.
Okay.
And
I
it
agree
just
with you,
takes creativity and just being really creative. And I think that by being lazy and using these costumes to just, be sexy, there are other ways you can do that. So I don't know. I don't know.
That being said, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be anything. I'm going to be a mom.
You're
I'm
not
going to
gonna
be a
dress up?
really great mom, and I'm going to hand out
You're
candy
already
this
that.
year.
You're already that. You can't dress up as that. You already are that.
I've always
So.
dressed up. I used to dress up. I used to make my daughter's costumes all the time. And this year she doesn't want to do it, so we're going to hang out and watch
You should just put your hair up.
romantic comedies.
You should put your hair up in punk style,
Yeah.
and then just say that you're a punk rocker. Just
I've
get a
done
leather
that.
jacket.
I've done all that.
Yeah, she's beyond it.
I've
Yeah,
done all that.
I do. Well, I came up. My idea is a steampunk 20s gangster.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna.
Are you going to send me a picture?
I will have pictures for
Okay,
sure.
good.
There will
That sounds
definitely
really
be
good.
pictures. So.
I would love that.
I already have almost pieces. So
No, I love dressing up for Halloween, but I just feel too tired, and all my stuff is packed away.
that's
so.
fair. You got the moving process
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
What are you gonna be?
I have not decided. I'm
Amazing.
going to the Halloween store this weekend and
Yeah.
kind of figure. I usually have a plan by now, but
See, I do the Halloween store just to buy all the fun stuff
yeah,
to
I
get
don't like
dressed
to buy
up to
the
go
costume
dancing.
there. I like to be creative
Yeah.
and make mine, but at the
You
same
buy all the little knickknacks and things that you need.
Yeah.
The guns and the little cogs and whatnots and hoo-hoos.
I made a trash bag dress once.
Oh,
I took trash sacks from the paper sacks,
oh,
and I ironed them out and sewed them together, and then cut into a
Wow.
shag dress.
wow.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
It's really pretty.
That's awesome. You guys
And then I took all the
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna
Where's
say.
the pictures?
Where's
I
the
took all the
pictures of
plastic
that?
bags and did frou-frou. Yeah.
Oh,
it was fun.
nice.
Well,
Albert.
So is that
Oh,
it?
sorry. No. Albert's favorite holiday is, well, at least since I've known him, is Halloween. After Halloween is my favorite holiday, which is Thanksgiving.
I was like, Christmas? I'm Thanksgiving. Sorry.
I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to me is exactly the way it sounds. It's just a time for family. It's the only time that my family ever got together.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular debate was never ever a debate in my household. So I will say
Or
that,
mine.
or yours, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we will throw the question out to you: pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
Ooh, pumpkin. My dad makes the best.
See, pumpkin. Pumpkin. We've only got one sweet potato.
Yeah.
So far.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
So
I have
don't
never
think-
had sweet potato pie.
So we're thinking of making like a pumpkin baking.
we want to do a bake off. We want to do a pumpkin sweet potato pie bake off.
Mhm.
So
So
I think you should.
we'll have to plan that.
you know.
So just kind of wrapping it up. What advice would you want to give to young girls watching?
Oh,
Well, I mean, in the fact that you have one, you know,
Yeah.
you're on every single minute of the day. Am I not wrong?
yeah. Well, she's giving
Well.
me more advice than I give her lately.
So something she's shared with you, maybe.
That is a lesson, though. I mean, listen to your kids. Your kids do have a lot of great things to say.
They're wise.
Do not discredit them. You know, listen to them. Hear what they have to say.
Yeah, communication is like
It's
key.
a two-way street.
I mean, there are a lot of times that I'll be like, hold on, and then right. Best piece of advice is just to communicate. Yeah. Over communicate, really.
I think that's great advice, actually.
We go on road trips together just so we're in the car alone and we talk more during our road trips than anything. Get over here. Come say hi. She's nodding. She's agreeing. But yeah, we go road trips just around the city. Just to get alone time. We take our camera and we take pictures of things. It's not stressful. It doesn't feel invasive, and we just talk about things.
It's fantastic.
And whatever's relevant at that time, we talk through it. So we've talked about sex and drugs and predators and
Rock and roll.
yeah, all the big things, bullies and things I didn't know about. Social media things I didn't know about. It's a scary world.
Well, where can everybody find your blog?
Hasty Words /WordPress. Or wait, what is my blog?
Is it WordPress slash?
WordPress. WordPress.com. I don't know.
Google Hasty Words.
Google
WordPress.
Hasty Words. I'm there
Hasty
somewhere.
Words WordPress.
Yes, that is her blog. It's been a pleasure hanging out
really
with you.
has.
And honestly, like I said earlier, I think that you have a lot to say, and it's very empowering. And I know this can be very nerve-wracking, but this has been fun, and we appreciate having you.
Guys, she made us tachos.
She
I
made us
did.
fun.
We had tachos.
I was trying to get
You guys didn't get to see that part. Sorry.
Yeah. So,
So next time maybe.
I was
So
thinking you might forget you were going to interview me.
no.
from us to you.
Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, talk to you later.
Cheers.